So this is a really hot take, but I do think that there's something valid here because the movies and the books, they're telling the same story, but we have to come back to the medium is the message. The movies are the best at telling the story that the movies are trying to tell, and the books are the best at telling the story that the books are trying to tell. But I think even with this, there is something to be said about your opinion here. It is anathema to me to say this, but when it comes to like the tightness of the story, I could see why some people would prefer the movies over the books. And that's because if I remember correctly, Tolkien wasn't really like an author in the traditional way that we think about authors. Tolkien was a world builder. He was a language creator. And then the story kind of was built around these different world building elements. And while that doesn't necessarily lend itself to the task of creating a story from start to finish with a traditional beginning, middle, and end, it does allow us like an incredible sandbox. I can't talk today. An incredible sandbox to play in. Whereas the movies, they're doing a different job. They are telling a cohesive beginning, middle, end story, and it's being told by, frankly, peerless screenwriters and directors here. Like, The Lord of the Rings is a story of just filmmakers and screenwriters and directors and production people and cast members coming together for what was an incredibly risky and ambitious undertaking that paid off in spades in the fact that we're still talking about these movies 20 plus years later. That is the job that these films set out to do. The job of the books is a little bit different. The job of the books is to give us incredible world and sandbox to play in, where some of the stories are really developed and then some of them are still a work in progress. Like, we have to keep in mind the books are a work in progress. And because Tolkien is dead now and Christopher Tolkien is dead now, the story is always a work in progress. That's why we have all these different debates about what is canon and what isn't. Whereas the movies are a complete cohesive thing. So some people are going to feel like the movies are better at telling the story because the movies are complete in a way that the books, sadly, will never be. I don't know if I necessarily agree with you that the movies are better than the books. I think that I understand where you're coming from, but I don't know. I can't do it. That's not something I think I can say. Your opinion is valid though, and that is a very hot take, and you're honestly valid for thinking it.